heading for the land round us. Get along, little lonely, get along.
What did I do to deserve this? What did I ever do to deserve this? Oh, Steve, the pain. The pain is indescribable. I never thought it would end like this. I never thought I'd end up like this. My dad was dying. Or was he? If somebody's still alive, it's hard to know for sure. He was definitely in a very, very bad way. Bruised and battered, if still breathing corpse. The blood-shocked eye sockets welling up with tears. I thought I'd never see you again. I had no idea what he was seeing when he looked at me. Some familiar phantom amid the ghostly blur and buzz and hum and occasional clatter of Ward B2, not B1, not B3, B2. And he didn't want to be here in B2. He didn't want to be anywhere but his own home, his own house where he'd lived for over 60 odd years. An Englishman's castle. Everything will be there once I get home. I'm not ready for this just yet. And he needed to pee so bad, but he couldn't. They'd shoved some kind of catheter up his private part and he had to piss so badly. He writhed and he moaned and he wept and I'm holding his hand and gently massaging his scalp, but for the moment there was no relief. I bet you never expected to see your dad like this. But you're still me dad. And he didn't do anything to deserve this. It's just life. It happens to everybody. Nothing's happening that doesn't happen to everybody. You're 86 years old. You deserve to be bloody helpless. Nobody's going to begrudge you. You just have to let go. What else does one say to a dying man in indescribable pain? You have to let it go, Father. All that mental anguish just adding insult to injury. You have to let it go. I have no idea what it's like to let go of something when you know you might never get anything back ever again. Because there didn't seem to be any returning from this, not in any shape or form I could imagine, not in any shape or form I wanted to imagine. Whatever force was compelling this critical juncture, there was no way I could wish for him to have to face up to it again sometime in the future. May as well be now, Dad, in B2, before it gets any fucking worse. But if his mind still wasn't at peace. And suddenly he broke wind several times in quick succession, and his body relaxed. He's gazing up at the ceiling. I'm just a dirty old man, he said, a faint flicker of thin-lipped humour. Give us a kiss. So I kissed him on the lips, my cheek brushing against his 2-day-old man's stubble. I love you, he said. For the first time in my conscious memory. I love you too, Dad. I guess he managed to take a pee, or maybe one better, maybe he moved his bowels to a much better place. I didn't pursue this possibility. I figured, hey, I'm going to let the sheep soak that one up. Besides, there were professional people around in Ward B2 to deal with such things. Some crisis has obviously passed and he's not dead yet. That feels nice, he said. My hand stroking his scalp. I feel like a dog. Or a baby, I thought, welcoming any unviolent touch without questioning its motive or morality, simply trusting to its benevolence. Helplessness seems to be a prerequisite condition for innocence. He looked at me through drying eyes. So, how are you doing? Well, it could be worse. I was listening to this interview on public radio, driving in my car, with this guy who's building a time machine, a real time machine, not an imaginary one. He's a physics professor, a real physics professor, and he's building a real time machine. He's written a book about it, a real book. This isn't a movie. Apparently they're going to make a movie based on the book. Some director has optioned the rights to the book, I assume, not to the time machine. Because as far as I understood it, he hasn't quite built the time machine. He's just pretty much mastered its theory. Otherwise, he might not be around to pitch his book or watch his movie getting made. He's probably already seen his movie. He'd be off somewhere in the past or the future, checking out the realities of history and science fiction, taking notes so when he returns to our relatively primitive present, he can enlighten us with his newly metaphysicalized wisdom. Maybe they'll give him a ticker-tape parade down Broadway. Excerpts from his movie flashing up on a big screen in Times Square. Hell of a show, ladies and gentlemen, hell of a show. This man has been where no other man has been before. Not without dying or not being born in the process. And he's an American. Let it never be said, America didn't get there first. Everywhere, at any time, back to the beginning and forward to the end, and all stops in between. This man has achieved the impossible, which when you think about it can't be possible. It's not impossible all the time. We just haven't wrapped our physics around it till now. Hey, there's a time for everything, and this is our time for travelling through it. In time, it'll be as common occurrence as catching a cold before a cold catches you. This is no pie in the sky. No more than cars and aeroplanes and rocket ships with the guys who walk around wearing wigs and knickerbockers. No more than movies were to the Grimm brothers or piecework and conveyor belts were to the Seven Dwarfs. Progress demands that eventually everybody will be able to do everything at any time. We go back to the beginning and see what nothing really looked like. Where something originally came from, and forward to the end to make sure all that effort and ingenuity was worth it and not just a waste of fucking time. Of course, as any imaginative person worth their imaginary salt will tell you, we're already travelling through time. From birth to death, cradle to grave, and beyond and possibly back again. We're already in a movie and we move around in it as freely as we like to imagine we do. We're just not quite sure who the target audience is, or if we're ever going to make our money back, and who's playing the starring role. A real actor playing a real physics professor in a real movie, or just somebody who imagines they are, which is the only way I'll get the part, because I'm not a physics professor and I couldn't act my way out of a bloody paper bag in my time loop. I didn't have trouble with reality as it is, which could change at any time with the drop of a bomb. Some sudden inexplicable surge or lapse of energy, or some random maverick time machine landing on top of me while I'm taking a nap at the beach could totally shift my perspective on how much time I have left on this planet Earth. I'll never know till I see me finished movie, or take a trip on a time machine. I could go back to the day I was born. Then I might really get a handle on what life is all about. 3 months previously, I've been back to visit my parents in England from America. I travelled through space and time, because I passed through the time zone, lost 5 hours of my life. Of course, I knew I was going to get back on the return trip, because time's like that. You don't really lose it, you just put it on your credit card. And my sister had warned me. She'd forewarned me on the telephone about my dad's altered physical condition. But still, it was a hell of a bloody shock when that door opened. This tiny skin and bone creature is standing there in oversized jeans and suspenders, little white t-shirt, vest and slippers, a skeleton with glasses on, thin wisps of tousled white hair clinging to his scalp for dear life. Fragile as a saliva web. You could have knocked his boat over with a feather. My dad, literally. Apparently his liver was fucked up. Couldn't handle the bile. And his belly would bloat up. He'd have to go into the hospital. They'd drain out the bile, but then his belly would just bloat back up again. A couple of days before I arrived, he'd been back in the hospital. They drained out the bile and it looked like they sucked all his meat out. But I think the only muscle he had left was focused on his toe bones. The only thing standing between him and total bloody collapse. Suddenly my mum is starting to look kind of sturdy and vibrant. I wish I could lose that much weight, she said. Without a trace of irony or malice, maybe a hint of mischief, because apparently at various points during their marriage, he'd given her a hard time about getting too fat. And the complex had gone deep, it haunted her, no matter how much bloody weight she lost. And since she'd gone demented, now she could roam freely over her resentments and my dad's past frailties as an emotional support system. There was one dude, she said, there was one dude, wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't stand next to me because he didn't like my hairstyle. Said it made me look like a tart. At least I don't snore like a pig. There's been a definite power shift in their relationship over the past few years. Because my mum had lost her mind, but she hadn't lost her sight or her hearing, or a will to live. My dad's was waning rapidly. And though her recall was generally random, every now and then it was fiercely incisive and fearlessly expressed. One time he shuffled into the room, and he's standing over her, looking down at her like she's demented. And he asks her if she knows who he is. Do you know who I am? No? Who are you? He shook his head and went to sit down. Of course, as soon as he sat down, she turned to me and said, "We've only been bloody married 60 odd years. Silly old bugger." Of course, he didn't hear that. He didn't hear half of what she said, and the other half made absolutely no sense to him. Even if he did, he didn't have the energy to bother to respond. His wit was dried up. She had him by the balls, which I assume were also dried up. I'm not a man anymore. That was his new mantra. I'm not a man anymore, facing up to reality, because he hadn't lost his mind. He just pretty much lost everything else, including his wife. They'd been sleeping in separate bedrooms for quite a few years now, so she wouldn't roll over into his delicate bloat. And she could make her dream time nocturnal meanderings without having to wake him up. But it was hard not to feel like somehow she'd been released. After 60 odd years of being Mrs. Bellwood, she was now her own separate entity. She didn't even have to wash her own dishes up anymore. Her apron strings had been loosed. All she had to worry about now was tripping over them, or tripping over me dad as he crawled around on the carpet, looking for the battery to his hearing aid. I had to find it for this tiny minuscule gadget, without which his world would be a slow-motion Charlie Chaplin movie without the piano accompaniment, terribly out of focus. Even with his magnifying glass, his city lights had been desperately dimmed. He'd keep apologising to me for having to go upstairs and lie down. Practically deaf and blind now, he couldn't carry on a conversation for more than a few sentences. That Christmas, I'd called my sister's house where the family gathered for Christmas dinner. And my sister told me he wasn't even there. He'd stayed home alone by himself in bed. He didn't want to put a wet blanket on the proceedings. And that's when I started to suspect something might be getting seriously terminal. So I upshifted my scheduled visit. And the day before I arrived, he'd gone back into the hospital. At his request, he needed professional attention. And my sister told me they'd given him some drugs to ease the pain and discomfort, but they'd deranged his mind. And as soon as he walked into Ward B2, with these 5 other old blokes in various stages of geriatric disintegration, he felt compelled to deliver a morale-boosting speech. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. The weather's not too bright, but we're here, and that's what matters. And I know if we work together, we can really get the job done. Now my daughter would like to say a few words. Just sit down, Dad, for God's sake. Apparently my daughter doesn't want to say a few words. Come on, Mr. Bellwood, it's time to tuck you up for the night. They had to call my sister back a couple of hours later to the hospital to help calm him down. He dragged himself off his cot and he'd been wobbling over by the window, banging a cup of water on the sill. The guy in the nearest bed told him to stop it, so my dad threw the water in his face. So the old guy whacked him with his walking stick. The nurse had to intervene before there was a full scale of muscularly depleted rumble. Do not go gently into that good night, Dad. And keep a walking stick handy, or a time machine, then you can zip back 40 odd years, have a good punch up with a full deck. Assuming, of course, your timing doesn't go back with you. Because you don't want to go back 87 years, you're only 86 years old. Where the fuck am I? So we're going to have to build in some anti-aging mechanism, which would be no good to me dad at this point. You don't want to finish up 86 years old in the middle of the Wars of the Roses, caught in a sudden downpour, the Battle of Towton Fields. I thought this was the winter of my discontent, said Richard III. I thought this was the winter of my discontent. Who is that strange-looking creature in those ridiculous pajamas? Must be some ancient... Hey, Shakespeare. Must be some ancient sorcerer, sire. You want me to chop his head off? Hey, I'm a respected physics professor. Besides, I haven't really been born yet. Then you won't miss your head, chop his legs off as well, and feed his innards to the wild boars. Now, where were we, Northumberland? Approaching the castle of York, my lord. Have I got time for a sandwich? Well, the Earl's over there, just inventing one. Seminal moments in the history of Western civilization. So I guess we're going to have to travel through time while we're somewhat in our prime, right? Or build our machine out of super condensed hybrid steel with anti-tank trimmings and a little periscope so we can witness time unfolding and folding with impunity. Because let's face it, hell of a lot of fucking warnings to manoeuvre. Not to mention the plague and the pox, the plague of fucking locusts. Jesus, life gets complicated once you start elaborating on its basics. And speaking of Jesus, when I was a teenager, oh, I gotta calm down, man. When I was a teenager, I read this short story in a national newspaper. It was a science fiction competition. And the winning entry was about time travel, set sometime in the future when it was as common occurrence as a package deal to Cancun. And one of the hottest tickets at the time was a trip back to the crucifixion, leaving from Lourdes to get you in the mood. One night stopover in Bethlehem to witness the first Christmas. Check out the Magi, lots smaller than I imagined. Tell me about them camels, they looked like 3 jippos from the caravan site down the road. And the stink from that stables. You could smell it a mile away. We had to watch from the hillside with the shepherds. They thought we were stray sheep, because they dressed us up in these woolly jumpsuits. We spent 2 hours learning how to bleat, because you have to blend in. Then fast forward 30 odd years to Jerusalem. Don't have to pack anything, no luggage, everything provided. Especially your clothes, because you needed to be sartorially in tune with the times, otherwise things could get really freaky. And you're given your list of instructions. We want you to throng the road to Calvary, and every now and then punch your fist in the air and scream, "Crucify him, crucify him," in Aramaic, which can be a bit of a tongue twister if you come from Doncaster. Of course, this one guy, there's one in every group, right, needs to explore off the beaten track. I think he was looking at a restroom when he realised that none of the locals are actually attending these executions, just them tourist time travellers. Crucify him! Crucify him! All the guys are down the pub talking sport and politics, how to Galilee United for the cup, how to fudge their tax returns because these Roman imperial bastards are bleeding us dry. Build us a few roads, they think they own the fucking world. The women are at home cooking up the couscous. They kept the kids inside for the day so they don't have to witness all these poor guys getting strung up on wooden crosses. Seems a little harsh. Especially for that guy who didn't really do anything, he just went around telling everybody to love each other. Seems a little over the top. Talk about a punishment not fitting the crime. And now are all these bloodthirsty motherfuckers thronging the road to Calvary. Must be imperial plans, not a lick of conscience or compassion between a lot of them. They should go back or forward to hell where they belong. Which, of course, we do. After the resurrection, finale ascension, a couple of hours in the gift shop, some souvenir strips of shroud, a couple of dozen wooden splinters, $10 a pop, something to pass on to the grandkids. Hell of a show. Hell of a show. It was like you're really there witnessing our Lord experience his fine languish and come out with a smile on his face and a halo on top of his head and able to levitate. Shame about the food, just bloody bread and fish all week. And the wine tasted like cat's piss. I think the grapes had gone off. Still, all in all, an experience not to be missed. Next year we're going to do the 10 Commandments. Apparently you can bring your own booze and your dancing shoes, because I'm told there's a hell of a bloody party before things get really serious. Anybody want to say anything? I like me dad. I like me dad. He was me dad. I didn't know him really, but he was still me dad. It's a bugger if you can't like the guy who fizzled you out of his lines and popped your food and shelter for the next 18 years. He's one of the 2 people I'd taken for granted all my life. My mum and dad. I'd like to include my older brother, who's obviously been around since I was born, but truth be told, I never applied to him for a grant. We were obviously never as close as I once liked to believe we were. Till that afternoon he left me alone at the bus stop, went off with his mates, and I never saw him again. Except when he came back for the meals, which we always ate separately, reading comic books and watching television. The whole family ate separately, reading comic books and watching television. My dad worked shifts in a factory, mornings, afternoons, nights. So we never knew when he was going to be around or not. When I was real young, he tried to sustain some kind of formal Sunday dinner. Lunchtimes. Formal Sunday, sitting around a kitchen table, awkwardly discussing the news of the world. But by the time we were teenagers, he'd let that one go. And he started his weekly Sunday ritual lunchtimes down at the Smallthorne Club, having a few pints with his mates. I'm not sure if he started this ritual because the dinners weren't working, or the dinners weren't working because nobody wanted to wait for him to get back from the pub for dinner. So by 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, we'd all cleared out, left him to eat his Yorkshire pudding in peace, because he could get a little testy when he was toasted. We'd sneak back during his after-dinner nap. And by the time he woke up, it was Sunday night at the London Palladium, and nobody's going to start an argument while Bruce Forsyth is trying to beat his clock on national television. Which means nothing to you, right? I'm not sure my brother would even like me, Dad. At our infrequent sibling gatherings when we'd grown up, he'd always finish up scolding as a mean-spirited, miserable bugger with a vicious streak. A petty tyrant who would one day get his comeuppance. I guess I must have missed something when we were kids. Apparently my brother took most of his heat, actually felt the belt. I just felt its threats, because he could be a scary bastard. But I always figured that's what dads are like. This is what Daddy, you work all hours of a fucking day and night in a factory, come home to 3 kids. This is what dads are like. And mums are not like that, because they don't do anything all day. They just cook meals and vacuum and sip lemon water and read women's magazines. It's the dad who threatens with the belt and tells you get your bloody haircut, you look like a girl. Sorry, Dad. Mums just suggest things. Oh, you look a lot nicer with your top button fastened. Don't be shit. If things seem to be getting seriously out of control, she threatened to tell me, Dad, I'm going to tell you, Dad. Because he could be a scary bugger. Apparently, he volunteered to join the Navy, lied about his age, he was 17 years old, because he wanted to fight for his country in World War II. I didn't know this till the vicar mentioned it at his funeral. Truth or legend, who knows? It sounds good if you're trying to boost somebody's posthumous morale. But I'm not convinced he was taking pride in his heritage so much as trying to get out from the shadow of his own dad, this bald-headed ex-pig slaughterer with a mean-spirited and miserable attitude and a definite fucking vicious streak. Docked his kids down in a wage slave slum and told them just bloody get on with it. Stop moping around like a big babby. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Grandad. Either way, it was my dad's big chance to see the world from the deck of an aircraft carrier. The HMS Indomitable, indescribable, insurmountable, something like that. I remember when I was a kid poring wondrously through his souvenir war photographs. Him in his sailor suit with his best shipmate, Shorty, who seemed to be a bit taller than he was. The harbour at Singapore, terribly exotic, lots of junks. Crossing the equator for the first time, all these guys dressed up as women being dumped into a big thin tub of water. It's a man's life in the Navy, except when you're crossing the equator for the first time, and then you can release all your fucking inhibitions. But my favourite was the wreckage of this kamikaze pilot. Crashed his plane into the top deck of the aircraft carrier, sent himself up in flames to ensure that his rising sun never set, and his kith and kinfolk got a bigger plate of sushi. Sounds simplistic, but how much more fucking black and white can you get than kamikaze? The word itself sent blood-curdling frissons up me developing spine, kamikaze. I'd seen these Japanese guys in the comic books with the big owl goggles and the banzai teeth, kamikaze. The ultimate warrior creed, the suicide mission, fucking terrifying. I mean, how do you find somebody who's come here to die anyway? Halt or else shoot! Fuck that, kamikaze! Talk about having your brain washed. These guys must have had the whole beans deep steam clean. I mean, the English Tommy would go over the top when ordered to on pain of death, but you always assumed they hoped beyond hope they'd survive the bloody battle. These Japanese guys forfeited any such survival instinct, let all hope go, and they entered the deck of that aircraft carrier like it was the passageway to paradise, through a furnace of fire and smoke and twisted metal and hopefully a lot of mutilated, mangled enemy bodies. Hey, we didn't start this fucking war. Did we? Who started this fucking war? But if we're in it, we're gonna fight it with everything we've got, especially our lives. Destroy the enemy at all costs. But who made the enemy the enemy? Obviously the enemy did, because in a war everybody's somebody's enemy. There's two sides of equal value to every equation. And the good guys can never win, because after the war, everybody's done something pretty bad, even if it's just ignored it, condoned it, encouraged it, or opted out of it, conscientiously objected. In which case the whole fucking country's your enemy as well as the other enemy. Sometimes we have to fight for what's ours, even if what's ours very often used to be theirs. And what belongs to everybody just won't stand up in a court of law, otherwise we'd all be part of the same equation. X can't equal Y unless Y becomes X, but why would Y want to become X if not to eliminate the equal sign altogether? And how about all those A's through W's? Collateral damage, not to mention that poor Z dangling at the end, like some participle can't even define its own fucking subject. I've always felt a great affinity for the Z. At the end of the alphabet, still not convinced why X should mark the spot any more than a good P. It's a fucking mystery to me. And Albert Einstein. Because apparently those were his last words on his deathbed. It's a mystery to me. Genius obviously has its limitations. He didn't proffer up any revelatory equation, just a shrug of enlightened incomprehensibility. It's a mystery to me. Besides, last time I gave the world a good equation, look what he fucking did with it. You know, sometimes it feels like seems like the whole world's on a bloody suicide mission, seeking something more glorious to die for than mere physical disintegration. And I'm sitting next to me dad's hospital cot in Ward B2, looking at him and these 5 other old blokes, and I think, maybe it'd be better to go down while you're somewhat in your prime, Stephen. Enter into eternity with the muscles still rippling in some blind, impassioned kamikaze moment of faith. Now, it could be argued that Jesus committed suicide. All he had to do was deny he was the Son of God. No? I was just kidding. Just having a laugh, Mr. Pilate. I was being metaphorical. Because in truth, we're all the sons of God, apart from the daughters. And the Muslims, who were the sons of Allah. Different God altogether, must be, otherwise what's the fucking fuss all about? Yeah? God by any other name would still rule over everything. Otherwise doesn't deserve the name. Might as well just call him King Reggie, master of all the lands east of the Mississippi. Unless he invades from the North Pole, in which case it might look like it's west of the Mississippi. Jesus, life gets complicated once you start elaborating on its basics. And speaking of Jesus with a gun or a flag in your hand doesn't seem like a recipe for peace on earth. Anyway, after being in a war, what's a poor guy to do but try to settle down in peace and get a job in a factory, get married, start a family? Jesus, I made a baby. Must be a man. And should put childish things behind me. Sell me drum kit and me accordion and behave accordionlessly. I shall work diligently to serve my country. I'll work my way to the top. I'll become a leader of men, Jackie Carr, Arthur Ramsbottom, Ernie Fairclough. They'll follow me to the ends of a jam jar, because he worked in a glass factory. Go forth, men, and find me the perfect bottle, the one with the genie in it. And I guess he did work his way to the top, in context. We have to consider everything in context. Relatively speaking, he shifted away from blue-collar shift work to white-collar salaried management. Troubleshooter on call, 24 hours a day, so we still never knew when he was going to be around. I wonder at what point did he realize he wasn't destined for greatness in any shape or form the mainstream mediated world might care to acknowledge. I wonder at what point I realized I wasn't destined for greatness. Next Tuesday. Maybe yesterday afternoon when this guy flipped me the finger because I cut him off at the intersection. Like I was just anybody, nobody great at all. Just some random idiot who should be more aware of his fellow human beings. Keep in touch with a rank and file who persist in treating me just like one of their own. But he did good. He did good, me dad. Did okay. He kind of kept his shit together to the end. I only remember one incident when everything seemed to be flying apart, the family nucleus spinning off its hinges. I was too young to connect the dots, but there was a lot of shouting and screaming, which finished up when my dad locking me mum outside in the backyard in the dark. And when he finally allowed her back in, she was in tears, and I'd never seen my mum cry before. It can break a little kid's heart. I guess things were resolved somehow, but that incident must have left its scars for all concerned. And in hindsight, I think, well, maybe this is the moment I realised I wasn't meant to follow in my father's footsteps. Not if this is where they led. I wasn't meant to join the Navy, fight for my country in a war, get married, get a job in a factory. I needed to follow very different cultural imperatives. Better off just keeping yourself to yourself, Steve, except for special occasions like following your biological imperatives. So maybe I'm in denial. Maybe I'm in denial. It's a strange thing about denial. You could be in denial, you're in denial, or in denial, you're not in denial. It's no denying there are some things you might prefer to forget. The fear, the violence, the darkness, the dread, the dullness. But if they were real then, they must still be real now. Life doesn't mutate itself just because you don't want to fucking face up to it. Consigning it to the past or your mum and dad's fault is a bit like blaming your left foot for not being on the right, or vice versa. Or expecting a time machine to solve all your fucking problems. Besides, unless it's also a space machine, you never know where the fuck you're going to finish up. Yeah? You go back to the French Revolution, by the time you've paddled over to Paris, Napoleon's already met his Waterloo. Italy's been unified, the slaves emancipated, everybody's having a jazzy old time over in New Orleans while you're stuck there on the Champs-Élysées watching the fucking Eiffel Tower getting built. A bit like watching the grass grow, only taking so much more pride in your heritage. So you're really got to do your homework. I mean, you go back to the Pilgrim landing, you'd be wishing you came in a fucking tractor and man, a time machine. The dawn of civilization, you better invent the wheel quick, because the dinosaurs are very fast on your feet. Yeah? So you really got to do your homework, otherwise you're going to be travelling through all eternity in your little fucking time machine, too scared to ever set foot outside. So you got to make sure you got a full tank of gas, or ether, or vegetable oil, whatever fuel time runs on. It can't really be natural energy, which doesn't seem geared to never growing old and dying. So you got to think synthetic. Really use your imagination to know when you've really arrived somewhere else. And it's not just here and now. Because you can't be in different places at the same time, different times in the same place. You need a machine involving elements of schizophrenia. Hey, where's Charlie? I'm in the Middle Ages. He should be back by Thursday. It's already Thursday. Hey, time flies when you're traveling through it. Doesn't it just blow the corpuscles off your brain cells when somebody tells you we got to get it right this time? With the benefit of hindsight, we now have perfect foresight. We've got a fucking time machine. We can see exactly where we went wrong last time. And everybody is so excited. The whole world is so excited, apart from the ones who never heard of it. Don't watch the fucking news. What fucking planet are you living on? You could wake up one morning, everybody's disappeared, and you'd be wondering why you weren't invited. Well, you didn't listen to public radio. Faith Middleton would have told you. Hey, we're on this little Viennese bistro. Circa 1937, thanks to a generous donation of a time machine from the Sikorskis, we're schmoozing on some authentic Bohemian Rhapsody, experiencing the richness of life. That Wiener Schnitzel, exquisite. The schnapps, out of this world. One bite of that Apfelstrudel, you'll think you're in heaven, when really you're in fucking Nazi Germany. But hey, sometimes we have to step out of history and appreciate the here and now simply for what it is, an opportunity for fine dining. So as a special treat for all our members and a generous donation of only $20,000, you too can join me in the kind Blut out there's Hamden Bistro on Sauerkrautstrasse to experience some of the finest cuisine in the Third Reich. A couple of $1,000 more, you can actually dine with the Führer himself, Adolf Hitler himself, who I'm told on good authority, apart from his politics, is one of the most scintillating after-dinner speakers in the Western civilized world. Just don't mention the Jews, they'll keep me in stitches all night. And it'll undoubtedly introduce you to his favourite vegetarian platter, bloodless Bavarian soy balls in a Messerschmitt sauce. So don't hesitate, call us now. Because I'm told tickets are selling like hot blitzkriegels. Hey, if you're ever wondering what happened to all those frontier snake oil salesmen, just listen to the fucking radio, watch TV, read glossy magazines, attend a political convention. Trust me, there's a whole world out there still waiting to pick your pocket and convince you it's a fucking magic show. The summer, we're moving fast here. Summer 1969. I slow down tomorrow morning. Summer 1969, the whole world was focused on the moon, according to this guy on public radio. The whole world was focused I wasn't. I didn't give a fuck about them all. If it dropped out of the sky, I might sit up and take notice. Otherwise, I had more important things to take care of. I can't remember exactly what, but I know it wasn't the fucking moon. It's a grown planet, it could take care of itself. But this guy on the radio is insisting we have to rekindle that very special excitement and enthusiasm about space exploration. Otherwise, he could be out of a job. But apart from that, it's absolutely essential if we're to know how the universe is formed. Talk about a donkey chasing its own fucking tail on top of an anthill and massacring a lot of fucking ants in the process. But at that moment, don't give a fuck where the donkey came from, just when it's going to leave, or where they're going to go to escape this bedeviled genocidal fucking burrito. But no, it's absolutely essential that we know how the universe is formed. Believing in some great mystery just doesn't cut the scientific mustard. We'll be no better than silly asses, having no curiosity whatsoever about what's swatting all these flies up behind our back. We got catch that tail grafted onto our front teeth, so we know that what once seemed to come out of our asshole is now most definitely coming out of our mouth. Progress demands that everybody will be able to do everything at any time. Hey, if it wasn't for Albert Einstein, we might never have known our relatives. If it wasn't for Attila the Hun, we might never have known the full potential of firm leadership. If it wasn't for Henry Ford, we might still be struggling through the mud to pick up a driver's license. We wouldn't even need a fucking driver's license. We might never know who we are and what we're entitled to. We'd be lucky if we could assemble a party of 6 to figure out if it's the right time to plant broccoli. We might never have experienced Disneyland, the Eiffel Tower, or the Great Brick Wall of China. Emergency services would have to be severely downsized. And we might never understand why I-95 needs to run on forever. It's to keep us in touch with the universe, which is flat. The universe is flat. It's the same guy on the fucking radio. The universe is flat. The Earth is round, but the universe is flat. He can prove it. He's seen the satellite photographs. No curvature at all. The universe is flat. The Earth is... What does this tell us about the World Cup and the Winter Olympics? How to squeeze a soccer ball into a Cadbury wafer? Anyway, right, I'm surprised nobody mentioned me dad's musical abilities at his funeral. Because I know he played drums in a band in the Navy. It was never confirmed in Churchill's memoirs, but I know he was very good with fork and a spoon at the kitchen table. And I have vivid memories of him playing his accordion. He definitely had a rhythm. He never muddied it up with the blues. He wasn't a rock and roller. Melody and swing, that was his thing. Bing Crosby and Glenn Miller. And he had a strong, pleasant singing voice. I seem to remember him singing once at a family gathering, but nobody seemed to want to stop and listen. Just wants to show us what a strong, pleasant singing voice he has. I think he took himself a little too serious, a little too self-conscious. I never even heard him singing around the house. He decided to let that one go. Leave it to the professionals. And asked Steve in the bathtub, because you couldn't stop me singing if you paid me. Which, of course, nobody ever fucking did, to sing or not to sing. But I built up a repertoire to buoy me up for a lifetime. Keep fear and darkness and dread and dullness at bay. You know, I secretly considered singing a Bing Crosby medley at his funeral. But I decided nobody wanted to stop and listen. Just wants to show us what a strong, pleasant singing voice he had. So I'll let that one go. I decided not to make an exhibition of myself, because my mum was there, and that was her deepest credo. You don't want to make an exhibition of yourself. I think her highest aspiration was to remain inconspicuously present. Nobody likes to show off, unless you've really got something to show off, in which case you'd be on television and beamed to her from a safe, unembarrassing distance. We have to know our place in this world, somewhere on the outskirts of its periphery. Out of sight, out of mind. You don't want everybody looking at you. Why is everybody fucking looking at me? Why is everybody looking at me? I'm sitting next to my dad's hospital cot in Ward B2, and suddenly he's convinced that everybody is looking at him. And I'm looking at these 5 other old blokes. Nobody's looking at him. One guy's gazing vacantly out the window, seems to be looking for a better way in or out. Another guy skimming the Daily Mirror newspaper seems to be looking for a better way out or in. One guy's in awkward, stilted conversation with his wife or his sister or something. The other 2 just lying back seem to be daydreaming about what delightful leftovers the nurse will be reheating up tonight for dinner. Nobody's looking at him, but suddenly me dad is riddled with fucking paranoia. Everybody's looking at me. Why is everybody looking at me? Just want to see a man reduced to rubble. Bellwood finally get his comeuppance. Everybody's looking at me, and I'm too fucking helpless to put up a good show. Oh, the agony of the indescribable. The utterly domitable. And now me dad's dead. But they'll always be in England. I better take a break now. Hey, take a break. And planted a sweet memorial on his refrigerated forehead. He didn't look much like himself anymore, looked more like some ghoulish miniature mannequin disc guy from an old Hammer horror movie. With the blood-shocked eye sockets and the preternaturally sealed lips without his false teeth. I guess his false teeth had already been trash recycled or remoulded onto some other geriatric skulls who wasn't yet ready for life to totally suck. And he had no fucking hands and feet. He said, I swear to God, when I've had a beer, I swear more, sorry. He had no hands and feet. His hands and feet had been macabrely folded away into the drapes of the coffin. Maybe they'd lost his shoes, maybe he had holes in his soles. I know they mislaid his wedding ring at the hospital, but I decided this wasn't the time to make a fuss. His spirit had departed, passed on to a better place, maybe the fish and chip shop next door. Now, who knows what awaits us in the next world? Mushy peas and a meat pie, 6 packets of chips and no gravy, because there's nothing worse than gravy mixed with the mushy peas. It's not my vision of paradise. I'd left my mum back at the house watching cartoons on television. Rupert the bear. Rupert wasn't sure he was ready to face up to the monster just yet. Those were the first words I heard when I came downstairs into the living room on my way to the chapel of rest. Rupert wasn't sure he was ready to face up to the monster just yet. Apparently he built himself a tree house for a more spectacular view of the world. Sudden gust of wind blew it away. He landed on top of a one-eyed cyclops, spent half the night terrified before he realized it was a lighthouse. His great adventure had turned into a shipping hazard. Life could come crashing on the rocks at any ungiven moment. Of course, eventually, with little help from his friends, Rupert was brought back down to earth. He returned home and he realized the view from his backyard was just as miraculous as anything he could see from up in the air. A rainbow appeared to confirm his epiphany. The world was at peace. Till his next great adventure, same time tomorrow, same channel. Do you like looking at dead bodies? Said me mum later that morning when I got back to the house. Do you like looking at dead bodies? I didn't know he was that poorly. I never thought I'd be the last one to go. Where you going, Mum? Well, don't ask me, bugger if I know. It's a mystery to me and Albert Einstein. Let's face it, somebody's facts are always going to be dependent on somebody else's fancies. Somebody's tragedy could be somebody else's cartoon. One man's revolution could be another man's just, what would the bloody say? One woman's soap opera could be another woman's reality check. And nobody likes change unless they're initiated. Most people, including myself, just want everything to stay exactly as it is. Till I decide to change it. I want to be in God's fully informed vanguard and let the devil take the hindmost by surprise. The last time I saw me dad, he seemed somewhat relaxed. He's lying back on his little hospital cot in Ward B2. And he'd really enjoyed his dinner, he said. He couldn't remember what it was, but whatever it was, he really enjoyed it. He wanted me to tell the nurse, tell her he'd really enjoyed it and he'd like it again, whatever it was. So I did. It was broccoli and pasta and a cheese sauce with rice pudding for dessert. He ate up every scrap, she said. Mr. Bellwood seems to have got his appetite back. But he didn't feel much like talking tonight, he said. After about 20 minutes, he told me to go off and enjoy myself, have a beer, have one for him. So I did. I told him I'd see him again as soon as I could. And next morning, I flew back to America to redeem my timely credit card points. And that night, he died. In the middle of the night, took off his oxygen mask. My sister called me the following morning. She told me all that day they've been trying to get him to wear this oxygen mask. He keep taking it off, they keep putting it back on again. He keep taking it off, but then in the middle of the night when nobody was looking, he removed it one final time. And I like to think he had the strength to make the choice. He'd accepted his fate. His time was up. It's time to move on to a better place. Of course, I'll never know for sure till I get to the same place. By then, I assume it'll be too late to put it into words. It shall remain indescribable. I'll take my secret to the grave, or to the crematorium where my dad took his ashes and smoke. Poof, magic. Abracadabra, now you see me. Now you don't. But he did good. He did okay. Decent, honest, hard-working, responsible, as far as I know, respectable man of the people who was a lifelong socialist. He was an Englishman because national identity did seem key to his self-esteem. The English working man, he loved to say, salt of the earth. I guess women were just the sugar in your Liptons, put the hop in your bitter, the tiger in your tank, and made sure it was always kept well fed. My dad was a creature of cliches. Very specific cultural imperatives, but aren't we all really? Different cliches, same weight of imperative. Just because it's a cliche doesn't make it not true. I think my cliche was the starving artist. Not sure where I picked that one up. At the mercy of nothing and nobody but my own imagination, I shall maintain integrity in this treacherously compromised world. I shall speak the truth, incorruptible, no power to sway. The poetry of powerlessness, that should solve the fucking housing shortage. To the end, I'm told he argued with my sister. He could never accept her as more than just a woman, his daughter, and it was her duty, it was her job to take care of him, whether she liked it or not. It was what was expected. All he seemed to expect from his sons was a resolute independence and an interest in sport and politics and having a few beers with your mates down the pub every now and then. I guess we all gave him a little of what he expected. My sister gave him a hell of a lot, really. Remain resolutely, if a little ruefully supportive, to the end, no matter how much he groaned and grumbled and belittled her sound, womanly advice. Women were there to take care of the minor details, took you up at night, while men grappled with the big picture. Women were the domestic caretakers. Any woman who sought to transcend domesticity just wasn't worth flirting with, just wanted to be a man, because his men make the world go round. Women just hold it steady at the base. And puffs, queer homosexuals were bizarre, slightly distasteful, but relatively harmless anomalies. Non-English speaking people were obviously fucking foreigners. Anti-government activists were attention-seeking fanatics who just wanted to rock the boat because they're too bloody lazy to learn how to steer it. Monarchy is a stabilising influence on socialism. Yes. And the British Empire perfected civilization, and eventually the England soccer team will regain their rightful place as champions of the world, because let's face it, there wouldn't be any football if some English guy from rugby had an inflated air in that little sack of leather. David Beckham would just be England's answer to Paris Hilton. Not a real man at all. My dad was a man. As soon as he stopped feeling like a man, I think he knew the jig was up. But he did good, did okay. As my brother said at his funeral, in a rare moment of filial compassion, he did good, did okay, 86 years old, good long life, seemed to enjoy himself. And he definitely married the woman he loved, because there was no doubt he loved our mum. After she went demented, he took meticulous care of her, till he couldn't even take care of himself, and that's when he lost his will to live. It seems terribly fucking reasonable. He didn't want to give up, just had no choice. It's the only choice left, given a body that had no fucking choice but to grow old and disintegrate. We've all got to go sometime. Could be any time. The dawn of civilization, the Middle Ages, early 21st century, late afternoon in the dead of night. Eternity needs only one moment to confirm your temporal novelty's worn off, your body's worn out, and it's time to move on. Must be crushingly sad. Apart from utterly fucking terrifying, must be absolutely heartbreaking to have to wave bye-bye to yourself forever. Knowing all the things you're gonna miss. England winning a World Cup, Men landing on Mars, women landing on Venus, getting together weekends to party on Pluto. The invention of the remote dipstick so you never have to get oil on the blood on your hands ever again. Afghanistan becoming a peaceful democracy. You gotta fucking miss it. Iran and Israel uniting to reform the Red Cross nation. Sarah Palin becoming king of the world after she has the operation, admits on the Global View that knowing the facts isn't as important as having a good pair of glasses so you can clearly see what you don't really understand. All that work you put into this world that you really, really felt like you belonged in. All that civility you cultivated. All the hopes and dreams of this little boy who grew into a man, then withered away into a fucking corpse. All the people you met, bumped into, said hello to, had a good laugh with, shared a great adventure with, wrapped your arms around and felt the heat of not feeling alone in a world so full of lonely people. Now here you are, lying on your little hospital cot. Eleanor Rigby, your life's just a flash in the pan. Now your goose is cooked, and nobody's coming over for dinner ever again. You know, when I was a kid, I used to lie awake sometimes at night. In the dark, couldn't sleep, with the sheets pulled around my head, so if any monsters turned up, they wouldn't know I was there. And I'd be trying to wrap my childish brain around the apparently irrefutable but utterly inconceivable fact that one day I just wouldn't be here anymore. And the sheer unfathomability of this notion set me spinning into the abyss. I'd be falling down a big black hole, the bottomless pit. I'd have to sit up quick, turn the light on, check out my time machine, so I'd know exactly how long I had to survive eternal emptiness before my man made breakfast. I'd be back on terra firma and I could hold on to my bowl of cornflakes for dear life. And my deadlines, because I knew I had to be at school, 9 o'clock, first bell. English history, double period. Rugby practice after school, big match on Saturday. More than my life was worth to miss it. Official sanction to hold on to somebody else. Because you got to hold on to somebody or something, even if it's just your penis, which of course I did. Eventually, but it's imperceptibly transitioning away from my bottomless pit phase into my fulfilling my frontal genitalia phase. It grounded me into manhood, the rock of my church. I spent many happy hours worshipping the Virgin Mary or the whore of fucking Babylon. Made no difference to my penis. So long as my penis was in good working order, I always felt I had something to look forward to. Sometimes you have to let go of your penis. The bottomless pit awaits. I was hiking through the Grand Tetons once in Wyoming. I fell in a rapids. I tried to shimmy across this log and I slipped and lost my balance and I fell into the water and I was swept down the mountain. At one point I grabbed hold of this rock, a real rock, because at this point my penis seemed absolutely fucking useless and irrelevant. I'm clinging to this rock for dear life. But the force of the rapids on the back of my neck meant I couldn't get my head to the surface. I knew I was going to have to let go or drown, so I let go. And I was tossed and tumbled helplessly at least another half a mile before I was washed to the side into this still pool, and I bobbed up for air. It was like the opening of Moby Dick without the flotsam and the jetsam. Call me Ishmael. I'd been born again. I'd survived the onslaught of the great white waters and lived to tell the tale of this fanatical dreamer. Couldn't come to terms with the disruption of his ego. It blew a bottomless pit right through his head. He lost track of his pragmatic self altogether and exploded into the universe as the instrument of apocalypse on earth, the battle between good and evil, and he knew he had to become the devil himself to lure God out onto the fields of Golgotha for a face-to-face. And the devil is vengeance, but vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Jesus' life gets complicated once you start elaborating on its basics. And speaking of basics, Captain, oh my Captain, what the fuck is going on? We didn't sign up for this, not in the fucking contract. We thought we were going into the North Atlantic, not the bleeding heart of darkness. We're just humble seamen, trying to earn a living. We're not fucking kamikaze pilot. But sometimes you have to take control of your destiny. You gotta grab God by the balls. So follow me, men. We're on an epic adventure to inspire aspirations beyond simple existence. Sometimes you have to fight for peace. Freedom is not free. It's a fucking bumper sticker. To inspire aspirations beyond simple existence, keep the friction fricasseeing to no fucking peaceful end that I can tell. We gotta wrestle that rock into submission. And any damage inflicted will not be collateral, it'll be absolutely essential. Hey, put that in your pipe dream and smoke it. You're either with me, or you're a bunch of fucking wimps, doomed to some unremarked political incident in the Grand Tetons. But I am not Captain Ahab. Nor was ever meant to be. Just a minor player in my own major key, so I let go of that bloody rock. But as I tossed and tumbled helplessly down the mountain, I felt no lust for vengeance. No anger, no blame, no shame, no remorse. Not even any fear. I seem to remember I was too busy composing my obituary to conjugate any struggle. Body found in Wyoming foothills. Identified as English immigrants, have no fixed abode, left no significant mark on the world, but according to his family back in Yorkshire, it wasn't a bad life. Did very well on his A-level. Put that on my epitaph before he drowned. He had no doubt that what was meant to be was simply meant to be. And as I bobbed up for air, my lungs refilling with oxygen, for one perfect moment the world seemed a refreshingly radiant, miraculous and merciful place. If you're in the right place at the right time, in the right mood, having come down deep enough, you can come up that high, having come to terms with the disruption of your ego, embraced your id, and pragmaticized yourself to the point you're able to dissolve peacefully into the eternally unselfish universe. I felt like I was in a state of grace. Yea, not like, but Amis was in a state of grace. The Holy Ghost was in me, and all around me the indiscriminate sanctity of being unseparate, undivided, unconquered. I always liked the Holy Ghost. Even when I was a kid, I could welcome it into my psyche. I could readily fathom its recipe for eternal peace. The Holy Ghost, yeah. The Father and the Son were always a bit more problematic, because I couldn't help wondering what happened to the mother and the daughter. Me mum and me sister, not to mention me uncles and me aunties and me cousins and me friends. I mean, you put a particular face on omnipotence, it can rapidly lose its potency. You'll soon find yourself drowning in fucking role models who are simply playing a part in it. Whatever it is, it's bigger than all your fucking cultural icons put together. Elvis, Bob Dylan, Buddha, Hillary Clinton, Mother Teresa, Joan of Arc, the leader of the free world. Hey, if you're free, you don't fucking need a leader. Certainly not some guy or gal in suit and matching blouse leading up the garden path into a big White House to feast on some gourmet macaroni and cheese with other guys and gals in matching suits and diamond-studded underwear. It's not my vision of paradise. Too susceptible to peripheral visions of raggedy-ass beggars diving into dumpsters, and not just to make a statement about overconsumption and waste. If it's your vision of paradise, you might want to consider it a clue. Why human society can sometimes seem so fucking unfair, so perfidious, invidious, relentlessly belligerent, and every now and then inhumanly fucking merciless. I mean, as soon as somebody gets to a place where millions of people they've never met, they've never heard of, never likely to meet or hear of, are hanging on their every word, it becomes all but impossible to tell them they shouldn't be aiming to get to the same place, because this is where the fucking action is. This is what success looks like. Start telling them things are never what they seem. They'll think you're being a bit obtuse, pretentiously self-effacing, a little ungrateful, just want to keep it all to yourself and a select few. They'll soon start listening to somebody else who'll tell them what fairy tale is real, and you're not just chasing Simon Cowell back up his own asshole. I mean, would you vote for a politician who tells you when nothing's gonna fucking change, really? Same old, rich and poor, haves and have-nots, but somebody's gonna do it, may as well be me, need a job, lots of perks. Right, would you buy a product from a company insisting it's not really gonna make you any fucking happier? Might make your 6-hour commute a little more convenient, could make some of us very rich, probably not you, but hey, if we all join together to keep the economy percolating, maybe some of it will trickle down through Simon Cowell's asshole. Some rock star tells you it's fucked up at the top. you'll assume they've just been partying too hard. And after they commit suicide, you'll assume, hey, they just fucked one too many supermodels, couldn't take the heat. It's a hell of a way to go. Besides, they're not really dead. They're living incognito in Buena Vista selling souvenir hubcaps. And meanwhile, the records are selling like fucking hot blitzkriegels. I mean, would you follow a captain who tells you, well, the ship's sinking? But we're going to set sail anyway, because we're all just in the lap of the gods. Fuck that. We got to grab them gods by the universal ball joint. Show them what we made of. Champagne and caveat, tinsel and polyester, foam core and pepperoni. You've either got the X Factor, or you don't. And if you don't, you may have to spend the rest of your poor self-inflicted existence wondering why Simon Cowell can't clean out his own asshole. Hey, that could be worth honest day's work for an honest day's minimum wage, and who knows, you might find something really, really valuable up there. And so the fairy tale continues. So many people straining and struggling to be a big wheel in this chariot on fire, keep the world tipped and balanced in their favour. Disfiguring, distilling the essence of their being into a case of malt whiskey, a bevy of beautiful torsos, and a platinum implant in their ego so it never have to be disrupted ever again. So we're all off to Graceland. In a long black limousine or a shiny pink cardiac attack. That place of very discriminating sanctity, about as far from being really sacred as Memphis is from the moon. Maybe a bit further if we include rest stops. We're in a fucking tourist trap. You just got to make sure you get a good snapshot of Mrs. holding up one of the King's hubcaps, which we just bought at auction, $50,000, cheap at the price. Shame we had to mortgage off our firstborn, but still something to pass on to the grandkids. By the time you realise them gods don't have any fucking balls. If they did, they might really need some harpoon-wielding wacko in a black frock coat and a peg leg as backup plan. You're being dragged dangling by a thread from Simon Cowell's left testicle, having ripped off your own scrotum, and Whoopi Goldberg's doing a drunken teller on your barely exposed midriff, but ratings are going through the roof. We're thinking it'd turn it into a mini-series, a reality show, a sitcom. Everybody loves Rupert Murdoch, that's catchy, unlimited press play. If we could just get Alec Baldwin to play a midriff and Tina Fey to play Whoopi Goldberg, we could be onto a fucking gold mine. And you gotta think in circles, man, so nobody ever expects you to get to the points. Keep the customer always wanting more, so you'll always be able to sell them something else. Talk about the donkey chasing its own fucking tail in a field full of cow dung, turning up on your doorstep and spreading an untold fucking mess all over your welcome mat. Fingers on the buzzer, ladies and gentlemen. Fingers on the buzzer for a place in the finals. The chance to win an all expenses paid lifetime in one of Trump's super dumps in Las Vegas. $50 billion over the continent of Africa. Famous quotations. I wash my hands of the whole affair. Bzz, Jesus. I always like to imagine Jesus on a game show. Abe, that was the guy who strung me up on a wooden cross. No, who was the guy who strung you up on a wooden cross? Well, I can't remember his name at the moment. My mind's gone blank. It's the pressure of being on national television. No! Jesus, didn't anybody tell you the fucking rules? You're on Jeopardy, not I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. I'm afraid you're going to have to go back to zero. And the correct response was, who is Bill Clinton? Next quotation. Father, forgive me, for I know not what I don't know. Bzz, Jesus! That's not what I said. I didn't say that. Jesus, you did it again. I'm afraid you're now in debt to the tune of Happy Days Are Here Again. And the correct response was, who is Sarah Palin? Jesus on a talk show at late night with Letterbox. So tell us, JC, what's it like being the son of God? Well, David, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You have your good days and your bad days. It's the bad days you've got to be getting careful with when you've got as much power as I have. Miracles don't seem so miraculous when they leave a lot of hungry, homeless people half buried in the debris. Sometimes I wish I just stayed in heaven. And how about war? As the saying coming to the Messiah, any opinions? Is evil sometimes necessary for the greater good? At this point, David's featured guest turns the other cheek, but you can hear him mumbling off camera. Does this guy know who the fuck I am? I think I need a new agent. Then suddenly, he rises up to the full height of his sandals, starts tipping over all the furniture, including David's desk. He's raging around the studio, pulling out all the plugs. Of course, he's never seen or heard from again, except through intermediaries. Beware of people rushing around dramatically with a sense of purpose, they're either in politics, military, or the entertainment industry. Or they're just trying to save the world from its inherent dullness. And meanwhile, somebody somewhere, everywhere, at every moment of every day and every night, somebody is on the verge of an unmediated death. Wondering, did I do enough? Did I do too much? Did I do anything at all, really? I mean, what the fuck was that all about? Will anybody miss me when I'm gone? Will anybody remember me when I'm gone? Will I care if anybody remembers me when I'm gone? Will I remember me when I'm gone, when I'm not myself anymore? Who will I be? Who am I? Suddenly becomes who was I? And who the hell was everybody else? And where the hell is everybody else when you fucking need them? Who needs them if we're all just sinking into the same sunset? Can I possibly fathom this before I die? Is there really one final a la carte moment of self-consciousness before we all blend back into the universal soup du jour? If there is, you better make it a good one, or else. Or else what? Better decide quick, not long left before you're off the clock forever, eh? Where's a good fucking time machine when you need one? Where's Rupert Murdoch when you need him for unlimited playtime? Playtime's over, this is serious fucking business. Did I do good? Is Simon smiling? If I could make Simon smile just once, I could die a happy man. Did I do it? Will I get a call back? Could make or break my career as a corpse. Becoming a zombie on primetime television, hey, Death's Got Talent too. Can sing you to sleep forever or wake you up if life's but a dream. Just keep your fingers crossed it's not a fucking nightmare. Otherwise you might have to spend all eternity watching American Idol reruns, showing you exactly where you went wrong by failing to provoke one simple flash of professionally articulated dentistry. Who's to judge? Am I to judge? Is this Judgment Day? Or is it nobody really's a fuck day? Everybody's too busy preparing for their own finale. I want a general ice cream wash over the holy shebang. Also carnation pinks and peppermint whites and baby blues, ominous blush of purple to the side. Some canary yellow highlights of me in the centre, spotlit in my full-bodied blood red jumpsuit with matching shade. Surrounded by a bevy of beautiful dancing virgins, all shapes and sizes and ethnicities. Because I don't want anybody thinking I'm not doing this for everybody's fucking sake. A little bit of ballet, some good old-fashioned knees up. Touch of Gypsy Rose Lee, artistic underlay of Isadora Duncan, lots of dangerously diaphanous underwear. Billowing bosoms, I need a wind machine to keep everything shimmering. Lots of smoke and mirrors and fireworks shooting up to the stars. Some stars shooting up in the bathrooms, lots of veins popping, a couple of vampires to get the blood curdling, a couple of big black dudes to hype the energy. A bit like the second coming, man. The first was when I fucked Paula Abdul in the green room. Just kidding. This is a serious fucking business. As I grabbed that microphone and hit him with my best shot. We are the world. We all together now. We are the world. And I'm its recycled spokesperson. Become a classic of overkill, 50 billion hits on YouTube. Everybody be dead before they know it, except for me, of course. I'd be hanging out forever in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At least as long as Cleveland lasts, anyway. Meanwhile, my dad's lying there wondering what happened to his false teeth. Because he really wanted to go out with a smile on his face. I'm not ready for my close-up yet, ready to know. I've got stuff to take care of. All that stuff in my closet.